Okay, good morning everyone. This is Servium calling. My name is Steve Dawes and welcome to the next in our series of our INOOT webinars. I need one of those. Purpose of our webinars is to inform you, our customers, about groundbreaking, disruptive technology, things that we believe can make a business advantage for you. So welcome today. The theme today really is around working from work. In this particular episode, obviously people have spent a lot of time setting up users for remote working and implementing technology. So now the focus is around sort of long-term planning and how this can help you and play a part in a modern, safe, flexible workspace. So I'm joined by Neil Fluester from Poly, who's a product director. Good morning, Neil.
Morning, Steve. How are you doing? I'm
very well, thank you. Thanks for taking the time to join us today. So for the benefit of everyone, we are recording this webinar. We're using Zoom as a platform to do that. So there will be a recording that you'll be able to share with your colleagues. So welcome everyone. So today, let's have a look. I always like to have a look back in history. The 26th of June. What happened on this day? Well, quite interestingly, in 1963, John F. Kennedy, he inspired the people of West Germany with his Ich bin ein Berliner speech. Quite interesting though, he was intended to mean I'm a Berliner, but the translation actually means I'm a donut. So thanks, John F. Kennedy. In 1974, actress Elizabeth Taylor had her 5th divorce from actor Richard Burton. For James Bond fans, 1979, Moonraker, the 11th James Bond film starring Roger Moore, that premiered in London. 93, singer Ariana Grande was born in Florida. Harry Potter fans out there, 1997, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, the first book by J.K. Rowling, a best-selling series that was published. And in 2005, unfortunately, Richard Whiteley, OBE, died age 61. He was best known for 23 years hosting Countdown. Interesting note there, that was the very first program to broadcast on Channel 4 in November 1982. But a little bit look back in history. More importantly, today is all about INOOT. At the end of Neil's presentation, there will be an opportunity to ask questions, and also we've got the prize draw as well at the end. And I'm joined by one of my colleagues, Guy Sumner, who's going to help me do the draw live with our famous bingo bango ball. So let's start proceedings off. So a little bit of background on Servium for everyone watching today. We're all about providing essential IT, putting you as our customers at the center of everything we do. So we're the troubleshooter. We walk in your shoes, and we do that by working with our partners, our vendor partners such as Poly today, to bring you groundbreaking solutions. How do we do that? Well, we're very nimble, we're very agile, we have a superb account management team, and because of that, we're very accessible and responsive to all your demands. And ultimately, our services ecosystem is there to help as well. But we work with you throughout the life cycle of a project, no matter how small, how large, right throughout that life cycle. However, the key thing for us is the review at the end. When we've delivered a project, is it on time? Is it in budget? And did it meet your expectations? So we do this, as I mentioned, through our ecosystem, which gives you, our customers, access to a tremendous breadth and depth of technical skills and resource. And because of that flexibility, we're able to scale it as well. And the key thing for me is the transparency of our ecosystem. We're not doing anything unique in the marketplace. However, what we do that is unique is we tell you the partners that we're working with and why when we need subject matter expertise to help you. So there's a lot we can do, a lot we can offer. I do encourage you to go and watch one of our previous INOOTs, which focus heavily on our ecosystem. So today, if we look at our Servium Pathfinder, where does this particular area focus on with Poly? It's very much around the workspace and flexible working and so on and so forth. So a bit of background there from me. Neil, I'm going to hand the floor to you, and then we'll take questions at the end as well.
Lovely. Thank you, Steve. I've got the baton. The baton has been passed. And morning, everybody. For those who don't know me, my name is Neil Fluester. I'm a product director at Poly. And again, I'll do a brief history, very brief. Poly, for those who don't know, is the coming together of two great legendary brands in the marketplace, Plantronics, from the headset side of the family, doing amazing stuff around Bluetooth, decked and wired headsets in the contact center and enterprise space, and Polycom, for which I've been 8 years now, from the video and conference phone business. If anyone ever says to me, where do you work, Neil? I say Polycom. And oh yeah, we've got your spider phones. I think everyone's touched a sound station too at some point in their life, whether it be in a meeting room or just seen it on TV. So that is Poly, for those who don't know. I'm a very social kind of guy, so do reach out and connect to me. If you can't remember my surname, because it is a bit of a mouthful, just search Neil on Poly or Neil at Poly on Google, and you will find me. So this morning we're going to be obviously talking about transitions. It's a massively overused term at the moment, whether it was the transition and that massive evacuation from the office space to home when COVID started to really kind of lock down in the UK back in March, and it seems like kind of old news now today, or whether it's the fact of being more comfortable with working from home and transitioning into that, and actually transitioning to the fact that you're going to stay at home, or whether it's the fact of transitioning back to the office. And an interesting anecdote that sort of I thought of this morning is that I love working from home, and my place of work is from home, but in this hot weather I actually want to go back to the office just for air conditioning, to be frank, because I'm sitting roasting yesterday and today in my my office conversion in our loft. But no matter where you are and what transition you've been through, you're thinking about, or you're starting to go at, Poly has solutions for you, and we're going to talk you through that. Now, I am going to talk a little bit about product. I am a product guy, but I'm going to try and keep it high level. It's not going to be a product training session, so don't worry about that. So let's look and see exactly what's been kind of going on in the industry and in there. And work has been transitioning. There has been a slow, gradual move towards working from home, and certainly there has been a growth in kind of co-spaces, things like WeWork and these other environments kind of sprouting up over the coming or previous years, and certainly we have seen that increase. The stats at the moment are almost something like 80 or 90% of people though working from home. And the interesting piece is that from a personal point of view, hopefully you've seen a benefit, a soft benefit, in the fact of your work-life balance, spending more time with your family, being able to have more free time to yourself and fit work around your schedule. But also from a business point of view, that companies haven't lost productivity. Hopefully they've gained productivity with people not sitting in traffic every morning commuting to an office, people being more flexible with regards to how they do work, and just being more productive by being able to work from home. So the interesting stats around the fact that previously, ahead of COVID, it was about 3.6 of total employed workforce working from home. Now that number has massively gone up, and it's going to be interesting to see how personal, from a personal point of view, a soft point of view, and from a business point of view, how many of those people go back to work, and whether that's full-time back to the office, or whether actually people are going to be more inclined to say, okay, I'm going to go 2 or 3 days from home now in the future and work for multiple days in a week from home, or maybe stagger my working week, start a bit later, finish a bit later, and actually be more flexible. Interestingly, there's some dynamics depending on which country you're from. Obviously in the UK, I think we're a little bit more open. I talk to customers in Germany and Russia and places like that, which typically weren't open to flexible working, and now are actually reevaluating that and looking at that. With that brings some new challenges and new priorities around investments, investments that you've already made, and trying to optimize and protect those as best you can in these transitional times and this new norm, or back to the future of work and what that looks like. But no matter which way you're looking, we have solutions, and we have the tools with Servium to be able to help you maintain and transition back to this. So from an office point of view, it's going to be around things like, how do you maintain these devices from a cleanliness point of view? If you've got a shared touch controller, remote control, shared phones, shared headsets, how are you going to work with that? You're going to have someone following around with anti-back wipes all the time. Making sure that you've got ample private spaces for people to be able to work. Look at things like noise management and storage and such like. From a home point of view, hopefully, again, people have now got more comfortable with that, but we need to level set. There was that mass panic of, let's grab a headset, go and grab some consumer, wireless earbuds and things like that to try and get yourself working. But there are, some real challenges around that, around noise exposure, battery life, and just being able to manage and monitor those from an enterprise point of view. So being able to level set that, make sure you've got reliable network. We were doing a run through earlier in this week and my Virgin media went down. What is my disaster recovery if I'm supposed to be doing a webinar and my broadband goes down? So, have I got the ability to run a 4G hotspot that can then give me that recovery? So all of these new challenges from an IT point of view need to be looked at. And obviously from an office point of view, the cost around those is much higher. As we look to, what we can do as Poly and Servium together, we've broken it down to 3 key areas, trying to understand your current environment, where you were before COVID, where you are now, and then where you're looking to go for the future, and then trying to optimize that solution to give you that consistent experience and increase the engagement if you have got people who are going to continue to work from home and people that are going to be in the office. So it was interesting, as Steve mentioned back there of the history lesson before, you can actually define yourself and your persona based on, whether you're a baby boomer, a Generation X, a Generation Y, or even, the Gen Zs that are coming into the workplace now. What device you want to use? Are you a more of a baby boomer that likes an old school telephone? Are you more of a person that's comfortable with using a headset solution? Are you happy to be able to use these remote collaboration tools, or do you want to be more around seeing people and traditional work styles from based on a desk in an office? Again, we have the solutions and we have the devices in your current environment, and also looking at things like future considerations around best utilization for new devices and addressing adoption issues, because one of the biggest challenges of things like headsets is they get left in people's bags or left in people's drawers because you've chosen the wrong device for that user. They're a mobile first user, they're going to be expecting to use their mobile. If they're more of a senior exec, they're going to be liking their desk space and having that environment that's dedicated for them. And again, trying to right size the solutions for them. We have the expertise, Servium has the expertise that will fit the solution to your budget to allow you to have that split workforce between working from home and staying at home and transitioning back to the office. When we look at transitioning back to the office, there is going to be an obvious change with regards to real estate. If you look on the left, the kind of battery farm of piling as many people and making the most amount of use of that square footage of your real estate now has to change. There's no two ways around it. The government guidelines say you have to keep separation and distance safely around your colleagues in the office. So being able to right size that space and make sure you have the right tools in that workspace to allow the fact that Dave or Bob or Claire or Rachel are at home because they can't get to the office because they're homeschooling, because the kids haven't gone back to school, giving them the right tools to give them that consistent ability to be able to collaborate with people in the office. So there's a couple of services that we've put together already with Servium and with Poly that will help you and give you that expertise to make sure that we can protect the investments you've already made and had to rush out to give you that business continuity. So we've got a free UC health check that we're providing through Poly. It's a 20-minute free health check we're doing with you. Network health assessments we're doing, headset readiness assessments, and workplace design with regards to video, audio, and collaboration to make sure you can minimize noise, minimize distractions from entering into the collaboration call. That classic, can everyone go on mute, please, because someone's scrunching paper or dogs are barking in the background that's disrupting that capability. So ensuring you get that performance of your platform, get the adoption, and make sure you get the productivity. I'm going to delve slightly into looking at how we can optimize that and define the solutions for the future. Poly has our solutions that allow you to work for video, for voice, for conference, and for headset. And if you choose the right tool for the right people, you can increase that productivity for those employees. And getting them the right headset, the right video device, the right audio device, and making sure it's working correctly will increase that productivity for your employees. Giving them the wrong tools for the job is only going to hinder the solution and again disrupt the technology and the tools from being able to work well at their jobs. Whether, say, you're working from home or you're working from the office. Now, Poly, together with our ecosystem partners, with Microsoft Teams and with Zoom, as we're using on this call today, Poly is the only vendor on the planet, and I can say that confidently, and it's not just marketing. Poly is the only vendor on the planet that can offer solutions for any device, whether it be a headset, a handset, a conference phone, a video device, or an interoperability service on any platform: Teams, Zoom, WebEx, GoToMeeting, Google Hangouts, in any environment, from the home office to the coffee shop to the huddle room to the desk space or the large meeting rooms, with full interoperability, full management, and full service backup around that with our partners like Servium. So again, there is no other vendor on the planet that can offer you that level of different environment, any device, any user on any platform. We have the solution for that. Now, I did say I wasn't going to get into products, but I do like talking about products, and it does help me to just give you a glimpse of some of the tech. So on the left-hand side of the screen, this is for our workspaces. So this is if you're transitioning back to the office, how are you going to get those rooms up to speed with regards to video? So we have some very elegant and simple collaboration bars. You can drop them on top of any screen, be it the smallest 27 exec screen in an executive office, right the way up to big 100-inch displays in a collaboration room or huddle room or video room. And they literally have power, Ethernet, and HDMI into your screen, and you have a native Zoom system or a native Teams system. 3 cables, plug it in, connect it up, and you have a native Zoom system. No PCs, no computers, no Windows, no antivirus. Very simple, elegant, integrated solutions. For the larger rooms, we have much larger cameras that can track and frame, with dedicated tabletop consoles with one touch to join, calendar access, and much richer capabilities with things like wireless content sharing, annotation, and whiteboarding in the meeting room. One of the biggest things we talk about as we transition back to the office is the fact of how do you use these shared devices. And one of the biggest things that we've done working with Microsoft and Zoom around Teams and Zoom is the ability to use what we call proximity join and wireless sharing and wireless control of a shared device. The challenge that these video devices in these shared spaces brings is you've got a shared touch panel. And unless you're going to send someone around with some anti-bac wipes after every single meeting, it's going to be a real challenge to make sure you can control the germ. So we like to say with this, your KYOG, keeping your own germs, by being able to control the meeting from your mobile device or your laptop device, whether you're bringing your own mobile or bringing your own laptop into the meeting room. Control the meeting, share content into the meeting wirelessly from your phone and from your laptop device without having to touch a shared device and share germs and necessarily increase the spread and challenges around COVID. So real interesting technology and innovations around proximity joining. From an audio point of view, we have some amazing conference phones. As I say, Polycom was always synonymous for the Spider phone, and we just recently updated that with our new C60 you can see on the left. And on the right-hand side are native phones for Zoom and Teams that give you the ability to have a very rich experience in Teams and in Zoom. Our headsets, as Steve mentioned, again, every generation is different. Some people like boom, some people like boomless, some people like listen to music, some people would prefer to not use a headset and have a speakerphone because they're on a lot of calls during the day. Some people like to roam wirelessly and free and want to be able to go 200-300 meters away from their base station, and DEC technology allows them to do that. So certified native solutions for headsets for Zoom and for Teams. And with all of this stuff, it's all very well having the great tool, but as I've mentioned, we need to make sure we level set and right size the solutions for the right job. So being able to get insights into the headsets, into the cameras, into the speakerphones, to be able to understand how many people are in the rooms and you know, who's talking in the meeting rooms, how many faces are being detected, and using facial recognition, we can do that. Being able to see crosstalk on headsets, you know, who's speaking, are they speaking loudly, are they talking over each other's? We have solutions to be able to look at who's speaking, look at how long they've been speaking to, how loud they're talking or how quietly they're talking in the meeting room. And again, we have solutions like our Poly Manager Pro solution, which allows us to track headsets, handsets, conference phones, and video devices, and give you an easy out-of-box experience, a great ongoing maintenance and management and reporting tool, but also insights and using these devices as environmental sensors to track how your rooms are being used, how your headsets are being used in these environments. And lastly, how do we optimize? So obviously, as I say, trying to ensure that consistent experience and increasing the use of these collaboration tools with this split workforce. So the ability to be able to get the best engagement with your users. So if they are going to be staying at home, and if they are at home, there is going to be classic distractions. There's a car alarm going off. I can hear out the window here to me now. You know, my son's been screaming and shouting this morning. How do we stop that from disrupting the call? How do we stop remote workers from feeling lonely and disconnected? And how do we solve that struggle around collaborating and communicating remotely? We have some great innovations on our solutions that differentiate us from the competitors. We have some great technology called Noise Block, which differentiates the human voice from background noise, keyboard tapping, dogs barking, kids screaming, leaf blowers and chainsaws going off in the background. Being able to maintain that experience and get the best possible audio so you don't always get that disruption of, can everyone go on mute, please, because someone's typing on the keyboard. The technology in Noise Block and Acoustic Fence on all of our products allows us to maintain and monitor that. From a video point of view, we have advanced artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms that will track and frame the participants. So for that one person that isn't in the meeting room today or in the office today and is homeschooling from home, making sure that they're not feeling disengaged and looking at a long bowling room table with small dots at the end of it, actually tracking the people that are speaking in the room and bringing them front and center into the conversation, and even splitting the table in something new called conversation mode, which can actually bring 2 meter separated socially distanced people together on a video call and do that side-by-side picture view. So the presentation has been around transition, whether it's, as I say, optimizing your investments through Poly Insights and through the services of Servium and Poly together to give you that health check, sign up for that free 20-minute health check and network assessment, headset right sizing, minimizing your risk, making sure that if there is a second wave, and let's hope and pray that there isn't, that we can absolutely make sure that you are ready with the right tools, the right solutions in the right environments around the right users to make sure that they can also then maximize the experience you get across the different working styles, the different working spaces, to make sure that you get the best engagement of your workforce in your organization. So that's a quick glimpse into some of the products, into some of the services, and into some of the solutions we've got. There's a lot more information. Please go and check out the website from Servium, from Poly. Check out some of the YouTube content that we've been putting out. Join us on social and continue the conversation moving forward. I'm going to hand it back over to Steve now. I think we've got some time hopefully for some questions. I'd love to hear from you as to how you're finding the transitions that you're going through in your organization.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much, Neil. Some interesting insights there, and some of the technology, like the AI and so on. It is quite innovative, and it is different, isn't it? So, questions. As everyone likes to know, I do like to put people on the spot. So, are you ready for this? See some questions coming through. From Ian about the Poly video conferencing technology.
Yes.
How easy is it to install? Is it just simple plug and play, for example?
Yeah, we tried to do a lot. I mean, video conferencing of old has always been very technical. It's always been a lot of cables, a lot of wiring, H.323 servers, SIP addresses, and all that kind of stuff. We're trying to make the out-of-boxing experience a lot more elegant. And with our new tools that we brought to market, we literally want you to take it out of the box, plug 3 cables in, and it will then say, do you want to connect this to Zoom? Do you want to connect this to Teams? Do you want to connect it to something else? Next, finished, and you're in your Zoom call. And then once you've got it up and running, be able to do a simple click and join to join that. So if you're using Zoom, if you're using Teams, then certainly we have that simple out of box and 3 or 4 steps through a wizard to get it up and running. And certainly the collaboration bars are an Apple type experience where you drop it on top of your screen, plug in HDMI, plug in your Ethernet, plug in your power, and you're done with that. So very, very simple and easy to use.
Okay, cool. That's good. Thank you. A question from Andy in relation to the proximity. So the proximity join feature tool looks interesting for people looking to start to return to work. how easy is that to set up for the users? You know, how does it get managed and so on and so forth? So how simple is that proximity feature, Neil?
Yeah, it's a real hot topic at the moment. Again, you know, with people going back to the office, how do you have these shared control interfaces? So proximity join is a huge benefit for workspace management and design. So it does vary depending on the platform. Certainly we have a solution with Teams and we have a solution with Zoom. Other platforms are slightly different. Generally you would use the app on your mobile phone, so the Zoom app or the Teams app. You launch the call on your mobile phone, and then you can then hand it off to the Poly device in the meeting room. Once it gets in there, it either uses an ultrasonic beacon to detect when you're in the meeting room, or you can use things like Bluetooth connectivity when you're in the meeting to pair your phone up to the device in the meeting room. We also have solutions, all of our solutions from a video point of view now support both a native registration to Zoom and Teams, but then also support bring your own device. So if you're not comfortable with, say, with using that shared touch panel, you can just plug in a USB cable and drive the experience from your laptop. Again, we want to try and at the moment be able to maintain your own germs on your own devices, whether that be your mobile phone, your tablet, or your laptop, and just use the devices in the room to enhance that experience. So again, either as an app that you install from Zoom or from Teams on your device, and then you pair that up wirelessly to the Poly device in the meeting room, or by being able to use the Poly device in the meeting room and connect up to it either wirelessly or by using a USB connection in the meeting room, so you're not having to use that shared touch panel to control the meeting.
Okay, that's good. And I must admit, I do like our new saying, bring your own germs. I think
BYOG, I think we'll patent that.
That'll go viral, dare I say. Okay, question round from Alan around the Poly PMP, the management tool. How is that licensed?
The PMP tool. So the Plantronics Manager Pro is licensed. So there's a free version. So there is a free version you can download and check out. And also we have the ability to look at different licensing schemes. So you can either do it for a small SMB. Obviously, you can license it from a headset by headset basis, or you can buy enterprise-wide licenses. We have different solutions for some video devices as well, with a new freemium model that we're bringing out, which gives you out-of-the-box free onboarding, management, and provisioning. And then if you want to look at things like the insights that I talked about, and again, this isn't vaporware or future stuff. We can, using facial recognition, count the number of people in the room, so we can tell you if you've got too many people and they're not socially distancing in your meeting rooms. And that is a value add service that we then, there is a charge for that. Now, whether that's through a service through Servium or whether that's just buying the Poly management service, that's something that we can talk about and something we'd love to take the conversation further around one of our UC health checks, or by engaging with your contacts at Servium to look at that.
Okay, cool. I think tying into this as well, a question from Greg in relation to the level of support available for Poly products, especially for my remote users.
So again, we've done a lot of work around trying to make the remote users feel engaged, and certainly the Plantronics Manager Pro, our new Poly Lens applications, allows us to, even if you are just using a Bluetooth or a wired device, you can get a lot of metrics in that. With regards to engagement, we're doing a lot of work around things like hand raising in meetings, trying to maintain the experience that those home users get, trying to monitor as well the tools that they're using and making sure that they get the best use of the tools, and whether that's being able to give you insights into, looking at usage patterns and then looking at increasing training and user adoption of the technology through our management, through our analytics, and through our insights into how the meeting rooms are being used, how the home users are working, what devices are using. And interestingly, maybe you're using, say, Teams or Zoom as your main call control platform, but maybe people are having challenges and they're going off rogue and using Google Hangouts or Slack or any of these other kind of freer tools. We can actually look and monitor at that and say, well, actually, Billy or Dave or Bob is using Google Hangouts. We need to be able to discuss with him why he's doing that. Why is he putting that on his credit card and costing us more money? By having those insights into, say, what the users are doing, even if they're just using a Bluetooth headset, we can track them, see what call control platforms they're doing, see the experience level, the quality of experience, the QoE metric of the experience of that call that they've had, and make sure that we're always trying to improve it and level it up.
Thank you. Question from Simon. With the soundbar options for Teams, do you need any extra licenses? I've got Polycom Trio 8800s and having to purchase the Polycom Real Connect license to get them to work with Teams.
Okay, great. I'm glad you've got some great Poly products there already. So there's a couple of options, and it's probably a bit of a longer answer than trying to solve that problem here on the webinar. But absolutely, the collaboration bars are native Teams room systems. Essentially, they run the Microsoft application. They were certified by Microsoft a couple of weeks back. So it is a full Teams app. We're really a little bit like Apple. We make the hardware, we make the operating system now with Poly OS, and vendors like Zoom and like Microsoft can drop their apps onto our solutions and say the collaboration bars now have the ability to run the Teams app. Now, you've obviously made an investment. I've talked about investment protection, and we absolutely want to maintain the investment protection you've got. So the great news for you is if you've got Trio 8500, if you've got Trio 8800, you can actually pair that up to the collaboration bars and use that as a microphone speaker and even a control interface for those collaboration bars. So protecting the investment you've already made in those trios, but actually taking you on the journey to Teams. There's a real challenge, and I say it's a much longer discussion than we've probably got time for now, but obviously there was a lot of changes in the back-end architecture between Skype and Teams, and Microsoft completely flipped the platform from an on-premise platform to a cloud-only platform and a standards-based platform to an HTML5 application that has to sit on Android or Windows. And that's really what changed the dynamic and meant that we had to change the hardware, but we've done as much as we can to allow you to keep using those trios. It's an amazing device, the 8800, 8500, and using that and bringing that forward with the collaboration bars. I would suggest to you, sorry, I didn't catch the chap's name, but absolutely reach out to Servium, reach out to Poly. You can always find me, as I say, go and find my YouTube channel, find me on LinkedIn or Twitter, and we can continue this conversation and find out what the best solution is for you, for your environment, whether that be Real Connect or whether that be by adding a collaboration bar and extending the life of your Trio as a speaker, microphone and control interface.
Okay, thanks. Well, Simon, yeah, just get in touch with your account manager and we can explore further. A couple of more
hot this morning. I mean, I've stirred up a hornet's nest. This is great.
So Stuart is asking a question around existing investments already made in headsets in preparation for COVID.
Yep.
Is there any financial exchange support Poly can offer to get us onto your products?
Yeah, great question, Stuart. So there are trade-in programs. There has been a lot of people that have gone out. There's a classic example we were talking yesterday actually about this, that customers went out and bought gaming headsets because that's all they could get. They bought either the Poly Rig headsets, or there was another customer bought some HP gaming headsets because that was the stock was just burnt down so quickly with the mass panic. Trying to right size and level set that now forward. So yes, there are trade-in programs. Yes, using our tools like the Plantronics Manager Pro, we can look at that. And again, there's a couple of things to look at when it comes to headsets. One is the kind of wearing style. I personally use a decked headset because I work on the 3rd floor of our house and it gives me the ability to wander and roam around my house. I can go all 3 floors and get full coverage. Decked gives me that flexibility to do that. Solutions like we were talking to some guys yesterday and they were using the boomless headsets. They're slightly younger than I am and they don't like booms in front of their faces. So getting the boomless designs, if you're more of a mobile worker using a mobile phone as well, we've got sort of in-ear. If you're more kind of millennial, you'll be a mobile first worker. So solutions like the Alara are best for that, where you're using your mobile as a device, as your phone, and then using it as a docking station, whether it be a headset adapter, which then offloads the audio processing from your laptop, so you can then reboot your laptop if your laptop goes slow. It's not going to interrupt your audio. So again, reach out to Servium, reach out to Poly, and we can absolutely discuss. And again, that's what that 20-minute health check and headset right sizing service. These are free services that you can hook onto, and free is good because it doesn't cost you anything. We can work out what the best strategy is for you. Again, trying to protect the investment because no one wants to spend a load of money at the moment on new kit, but then also looking at how do we make sure that you're covered if there is a second spike, and again, let's hope and pray there isn't, or as I say, making sure that we get the best possible experience for you and engagement for your users whilst they either stay at home, transition back to the office, or continue on in the office. So reach out to Servium Poly and we will help you with regards to a trade-in, trade-up and right size of your headset estate.
Okay, that's
Hopefully
always good to know. Yeah, thanks for that, Neil. Final question then.
Okay,
from
make
Tony.
it a good one. Go on, Tony.
Can Teams be added to Polycom Real Presence Touch running with a Group 500 system?
That's a very specific question. Good, excellent. Thank you, Tony. That was a good one to end on. So technically, yes, but as I kind of already mentioned, again, it is a long story with a lot of history around it. Teams is radically different from Skype for Business. Skype for Business was a SIP call control platform using standards-based video and audio to be able to connect into it. So the Group 500 that you've got there and the Real Presence Touch made a SIP call into Skype for Business. It was very simple, very easy, and we could make a standard video conferencing call. Teams is very different. The only way to interwork with Teams is either via a Windows 10 application on a Microsoft Teams Room system, via an Android app on the Teams collaboration bars, and again, we have both MTRs and collaboration bars for Teams. The only other way to get into Teams is via an interop service. It's called a CVI service, or Cloud Video Interop Service, and Poly has a solution called Real Connect. This allows you to protect the investment that you've made in those group series and be able to use them with Microsoft Teams. It's a very cost-effective solution because it means that you can sweat your assets on the hardware that you've already made and have a full native experience with Teams. Native audio, video, and content, both ways from your devices, and still use that one-touch join interface on your RP Touch. Now, that allows you, again, to bring those group series forward into the world of Teams, but they run a Poly application that then makes a SIP call into Teams. Now, again, that's a very, very shorthand, quick synopsis of how to do it. It's a much longer subject to talk about. And again, Tony, I think it was Tony who asked the question. We'd love to talk further around that. Look at, again, what solutions you've got and what's the right solution for you. Because obviously there's a cost, and for using that Cloud Video Interop service, it's going to be an OPEX cost versus a CAPEX cost for renewing your hardware. The interesting thing when you look at Skype and Teams is, and again, I don't want to downplay Microsoft, but you know, Microsoft have changed from OCS to Link to Skype to Teams. And as things change, it's a dynamic, fluid, ecosystem. So as things change in the future, if you invest in a native solution, how long is that going to last for, and how long before you have to change out that hardware? And actually using a Cloud Video Interop service gives you that flexibility. The other, just last thing I'll close, because I do tend to talk a lot, apologize, is that if you use a Cloud Video Interop service, you actually got choice. And the best thing about choice is, at the moment, there are lots of different call control platforms. We're using a Zoom call today. Throughout my working day, I will generally touch 2 or 3 different ecosystem platforms. I'll have a call on Teams, a call on Zoom, a call on WebEx. And if I'm all in on one call control platform, that gives me a very blinkered approach where I can't talk to you. Sorry, we don't do Zoom, we don't do WebEx, we don't do GoToMeeting. And actually, by maintaining your Group 500 and using it with Real Connect and the CVI service, you can make calls into Teams 80% of the time. And then for the 20% of the time that are outside of your control, when that supplier or that customer says, hey, can you join our Servium Zoom webinar, or can you join our XYZ WebEx call? You're not going to say, no, we just do Teams. You can say, sure, we can dial Teams, we can dial Zoom, and the 9 o'clock sales meeting can be in Teams, the 10 o'clock Servium webinar can be in Zoom, and the Poly solution can be on BlueJeans or WebEx or whatever other platform. It gives you the choice. So don't be dismayed about the fact that the Group 500 doesn't support Windows 10 or Android. You still have a great solution for Teams by using the Cloud Video Interop service, and we'd love to talk further about that with you moving forward. Hopefully that answers your question, Tony. I could talk for hours on that subject, but I'm conscious of time.
Okay, brilliant. That's great. Well, look, thanks a lot, Neil. That's a really good insight into the platform and what it can bring. So for anyone who's got any more questions, please send them through to either account manager or inoot@servium.com. and we'll answer those for you. Also, if you're interested in the health check and the audit that we discussed earlier, then again, reach out to your account manager, and we'll then get that set up for you in partnership with Poly. So Neil, thank you very much for your time today. Appreciate. I know we're only sort of, as you said, scratching the surface. There's a lot more we could do, but obviously we're limited for time. So thank